Hello students, welcome to this Frames 5 video tutorial on Pong Part 3. Please open your Pong file in Frames 5 from your application screen. Okay, so remember what we've accomplished so far. We've accomplished 2 rebounds where we've moved the paddle to rebound off the ball. Okay, so let's kind of tighten this animation up a little bit. So using the slide bar at the bottom, let's go all the way back to frame 1. Let's click on frame 1. And then using the slide bar, I want you to go all the way to the end. Now, hold the control key in the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard, CTRL, control, and then click on the last frame. Oh, I apologize. Let's do that again. It was the wrong key. All right, maybe we can do it right here. Let's hold Shift and click on the last frame. Okay, we've got to restart. Sorry about that. Let's click on frame 1 and then use the slide bar and go all the way to the end. Hold the Shift key in the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard and click on the last frame. Okay, so that should highlight all of the frames in your project. Look in your timeline. Are they all highlighted in blue? Yes, they are. All right, let's set the duration. Okay, in the bottom left-hand corner here where it says duration, I want you to just highlight where it says 0.5 and type in 0.2 and then hit enter. So what you've done is you've reduced the duration that each frame plays for. In other words, you've sped up the animation quite a bit. So let's see what you've done, what change this has made. So let's click on frame 1. So let's deselect first. Let's click on frame 1 and then let's press play. And then you should notice that the ball and the paddle are moving much faster, maybe much more realistically to the video game. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to get rid of all of the paths. So let's go back to frame 1. And this is just repetitive work. All you have to do is you have to click on the arrow in each frame and delete it. So why don't you do that? Maybe you can keep the video going on in the background while I talk you through it, but there's not really a lot of explaining to do. So keep moving through every frame. Now there's another way that you can do this, is that rather than clicking right on the arrowhead, what you can do with your mouse is you can kind of go a little bit away from the arrow, click and hold your mouse down and drag a box so that it touches the arrow, and then you can hit delete. So this allows you not to be very accurate. It is also very helpful when you're trying to delete more than one object on the screen at a time. For example, when I want to delete 2 arrowheads, again, I'll set my mouse over here. I'll click and hold the mouse button, and I'll drag a box so that it touches both arrowheads. And then I'll hit delete. Okay, that's probably faster. Well, it might be faster, it might not be faster. Whatever technique works for you. I have a wireless mouse, so it's not always as precise. So for me, using this technique where I drag is a little bit more accurate for me. Just make sure that you're not clicking on the ball, or else the ball will disappear as well. Now again, it's very repetitive work, but it's necessary. It's going to look so much more realistic without those arrowheads there. Okay, so now I'm at a point in my animation where I have to delete 3 arrowheads at once. So I probably have to use both techniques. I'm not sure if there's a way that I can click and drag to highlight all 3 arrowheads. You can hold the control key and manually click on the 3 arrowheads, but I think that takes a little bit longer. Oh, I'm in a spot now where I can click on all 4 arrowheads at the same time without the ball being in the way. So this is going to go a lot faster for me. Almost done. Keep going. If you go too fast, that's when you start making mistakes. I'm trying to go fast so that you don't have to watch a very boring step. But the good thing is you're probably doing that step at the same time I am. So we're not really wasting any time. You've got this on in the background, but you're focusing on what you're doing. All right, I'm almost done. Okay. Now I've gotten rid of all of the paths. So if I've gone faster than you, then definitely press pause at this point. Okay, so let's save what we've done. So let's click on save in the top left-hand corner. All right, so let's see what this looks like without the arrowheads there. So let's click on frame 1, press play. It looks a lot better without the arrowheads, doesn't it? I like the rebounds off the wall. Very good. Okay. So let's add a background. So let's click on frame 1. And on the right-hand side in the Tools panel, you see here the color here, the fill box is checked. Let's keep it a solid color. And then I want you to just pick a cool background color. Okay, it doesn't have to be realistic to the game. The original Pong was just black and white, but you can create the background any color you want. When you've chosen the background color that you're going to go with, I've chosen a very bright green, but again, you can have a dark background or you can have a very, very light background. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna stick with the bright green here. I could go with yellow as well. Yellow looks pretty cool. All right, so once I've chosen, then underneath the color palette box here, there's this button that says apply to all frames. So that's an easy way, once you've chosen the background color, to just flood it into all of the other frames. So let's click on apply to all frames now. Okay, so let's add something fun. It might work, it might not work. So let's see. Let's go through the motion anyway. I want you to find the frame where the ball hits the paddle for the first time. So look for that frame. All right, so now that I'm on that frame, in the timeline, I clicked on that frame. Let's go now to the right-hand panel and let's click on Library. Okay, now like I said, this step might work or it might not. I want you to look for sounds. Let's double click on sounds. Then I want you to scroll down and look for sound effects. Now, we want to have some kind of sound effect when this ball hits the paddle. But keep in mind that each frame is only showing for 0.2 seconds. So we have to have a very short, a sharp sound effect. So I found that this one here, bonk, works. So you can click on bonk, and if you want to hear what it says or what it sounds like, you click play. If you like it, if you want to put it in, then click on this green button here. So what that does is, if you look in your timeline, under soundtrack, it shows that it's putting the bonk sound in when the ball hits the paddle. So what we want to do is, now we want to go all the way to the last frame, because that's where the ball hits the paddle again, and we're going to add that bonk sound effect by clicking on the green arrow. And when you do, it should show up in the timeline here under soundtrack, bonk. Okay? All right. So let's go back to frame 1. Let's click save. And then I want you to press play and see if that sound effect works. Now, throughout the years, I found that some sound effects work and some don't. Some computers make the sound effect work and some computers don't. So I hope it works for you. Okay. So now let's click on frame 1 again. I've already clicked on frame 1. And I want to click duplicate. So what I've done is I've created a duplicate of frame 1. Frame 1 is exactly in duplicate 2 times. So I want to click now frame 1. Let's go back to frame 1. So we're going to add a title page here. So on the right hand side, let's click Tools. Let's click Get the Tool panel back. And let's click on Text. Add a text object to this frame. Alright, let's double click in here. And what we want to do is we want to type the title, Pong Mechanics. Make sure you spell mechanics correctly. Mechanics just simply means how something works. Alright, once you've typed it in, make sure it's capital P, capital N. This is a M. This is a main title. Let's highlight it. And I want you to choose a nice font. Okay, so look for a good font. These days, everything I do uses Calibri. Then I want you to bold it. And then I want you to increase the size of that title. Make it quite large. Then I want you to move it to a different spot on your frame. So you can click outside of the text box, then click back inside, and then you'll get this kind of compass rose tool here. And then I want you to move it somewhere on your frame. You can change the color of the font as well. You can make it match one of the colors that you've already used. You can keep it black, or you can go with something completely different. I'm going to go with blue. I'm going to use the blue that I used for my paddle. Okay? So let's deselect. Now, this is the title page, but right now it's set at 0.2 seconds because we duplicated the first frame. 0.2 seconds is not long enough for the audience or whoever's watching your animation to read this title. So in the bottom right hand corner, let's change the duration from 0.2 seconds to 3. That's a whole number, 3 seconds. And then hit enter. Okay, let's click save. And let's play. So we want to make sure that the title is showing for 3 seconds, and then your animation starts. Now my sound effect actually worked there, so I'm pretty happy about that. Okay. So, my tutorials are done. However, you have a challenge now. So I want you to continue this game. I want you to continue the upward rebound. Let it hit the top and let it come back down. And what I want you to animate is, I want you to animate a game over scenario in which you could not get the paddle to rebound off the ball, and the ball falls down through the bottom of the frame, and then the game is over. Okay, so that's going to take you a while. You can take as many frames as you wish. Continue on with the techniques that you have learned in this tutorial, in this set of tutorials, and I'm looking forward to seeing your completed Pong game. Okay, so this concludes this animation project. Please continue to save your work and call Mr. Ueda over to show him your completed Pong game. Thanks for watching. Bye.